Hello, YouTubers. Ouch. Hi. Um, Yesterday, the 3rd, I just moved in here, like, barely a month ago. And I was going to the pool because I was over the date. I was, like, already done. I wasn't going to go do nothing. And I was sitting in the pool, minding my own business. And I was just sitting there. I was just floating around on my little floaty and going around and around. And this guy comes into the pool. This is going to sound so stupid. And of course I sized him up. I'm like, cute, handsome. And I was just like, so we ended up talking. He's like, he had it because he was on the phone when he got to the pool. Like, who goes to the pool with their phone besides me? I went to the pool, but playing music. He gets in the pool and he was like, oh, sorry, I was rude. Hi, how are you? Everybody here in Nevada is super overly friendly. Like, good morning, good afternoon, how are you? Everybody around me is super duper friendly. Like, I think there's, in this little apex that I'm in, nobody's from anywhere particular. They're not from here. I'm from Cali, person upstairs from Utah, people next door from New York City. Lady on this side of me is from South Dakota. The lady on the other side, she's from Illinois. Person on the other side is from Hawaii. The lady on, it's like we had like a little get together last night, and like everybody's like we have like 18 states right here in this little apex. So I was at the pool, and this guy comes in, and we're shooting shit and whatever. I ask all the right questions without being directly honest. Like, so, married, single? He's like, very single. And I'm like, oh, all right. He goes, and you? And I said, very single. And he's like, no side something, no. Like, he knows. Because he's, when you're 50 something, you just get to the cut. You cut through the juice. You just trim through it. Like, very single. No nobodies. He's like, me neither. And then we started talking, and he had an accent. So I said, where are you from? He's from Chicago. And I'm like, and he lives here. He lives on another eightplex over on the others. There's 2 addresses to this complex, so he's on the other address. So we're sitting there, and he's like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Since you're super single, because I said super single, so that was like his super joke for most of the night. I said nothing. I wasn't planning on doing nothing. Maybe go watch fireworks down on the strip or whatever. But other than that, not a damn thing. He goes, don't do that. Come hang out with me and my other friend that lives, which is a couple, an older couple, which are super nice people. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, yeah, date. And he's like, I'm like, what? He goes, consider it a date. You're single, I'm single, So I'm laughing. And he's like, he was bald. Bald is the best beautiful ever on the planet Earth to me. Taller than me, which is always helpful. Single. And I knew pretty much from the second I said, hi, how are you, blah, blah, that little conversation, that he was a cop. And I'm like, what do you do for a living? He goes, what do you mean? And I go, you have detective, you have retired, and you have cop written all over your forehead. And he's like, is it that obvious? I'm like, I'm a good read of people, and you can't BS yourself out of this one. He goes, yes, I'm a retired cop from Chicago 3 years ago. He's been here for 2. He's signing his second lease. I thought that was funny. And he's like, how'd you read me? I go, I have friends that are cops. Straight up, you look like a cop. You sound like a cop. The way you're asking questions is like a cop. He goes, I didn't know it was that obvious. And I'm like, yeah, it is. So he goes, I'll meet you at this place that he wanted me to go to watch fireworks. And I'm like, I hate fireworks, but I'm just going to tell you I'm a scaredy cat. And he's like, oh, that's fine. I'll hold you. And I'm like, shut up. So we get there, we watch the fireworks. I meet the friends that live in his complex, his little eightplex over on the other side. And they're super, super chill. They're like, how'd you get here? Why are you here? Like, they're asking kind of all the same questions. And I'm just like, starting over, starting new, starting fresh, no friends, no drama. And the guy in the pool, that's what we're just gonna call him, the guy in the pool. He's like, it's the best case scenario. And I'm like, yep, I have the next 37 years of my life, give or take. I'm 52, we'll be 53. Do the math, there you go. That's about long I'm probably gonna live. So we were chatting it up there. He was drinking a little, but he had an escort. He had his little 6 or 8-plex friends that live above him. And I said, come back to the pool. Okay. When you're a cop, it gets funny for a second. He told me to go to this bar that had an outdoor deck. And I'm like, okay. I guess he's frequent there a lot. And a few weeks ago, like 3, he went to their fish fry. This is a good laugh. You're going to crack up. You're going to die. And I bet my best Reddit rendition of what happened was this guy from another place came into the bar and kind of like sat down at the bar next to him, but he was stirring it up with another chick. He was like, hi, how are you? My name's Randy, blah, blah, blah. And the guy that sat down next to him called her everything but her name. Vulgar, relentless, disgusting names to a female. And he politely said, let's get up and go over here. We don't need to hear this nonsense. So they got up, him and the girl, the guy in the pool. They got up and moved across the bar. Well, this guy followed. And he proceeded to say, she's a this, she's a that. And he's like, we really don't need to, that's not, become, it's not something you talk about. It's not something you say, like, respect the woman, da, 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 da. Oh, you just wanna. And he's like, no, we just met. I'm just talking. I'm at a new place. I'm trying to make some friends. And the guy didn't like it. The girl and the guy in the pool got up again and moved across the bar, stopped, chatted a little bit. And before he knew it, the guy that came in and sat with all the vulgar and bullshit came up and sideswiped him on the back of the head. Mind you, he's a retired cop. So he backed up, and the girl that he was talking to grabbed his shoulder, this shoulder, and he swung around thinking the guy hit him again and bashed her in the forehead because she was shorter. He felt bad. The bar's like, oh, barky, barky, barky. Fast forward, last night, we were at this same bar with the 2 older people, me and him. The fireworks are done. We're sitting outside, minding our own business. And the bartender that worked 3 weeks ago saw him and told the current bartender, the third bartender, the one that's working the third, to go out there and tell him to leave because he causes chaos. So we're sitting there, we're drinking water, we're doing whatever we're doing, and this lady flunks on the lights, and it's like stadium lighting, like, because they were off for the fireworks. And hands him a business card to the bar owner and says, I was told you need to leave because you've caused some things here, so you need to leave. You need to leave right now, and I have to stop serving you. And I'm sitting there going, what the hell just happened? Like, wait, what? So he's like, that's fine. He guzzles his beer, gets in the car with the older people that live in the complex. And I'm like, we need to check. Like, what the hell just happened? Because we were having a decent time. It was hot as hell outside, I won't lie. And he's like, okay, I'll meet you back at the pool. So the older couple, me and him all went to the pool. And so I got to hear the story, which was the story I just said. And he showed me pictures of the girl's face, which was clearly, he said, as soon as she pulled his shoulder, she felt a punch. They looked on the video cameras and found out he did swing and hit her, but they thought he hit her. And come to find out, they went on a date the next night because he felt shitty, thinking it was his shoulder. And it was clearly not his shoulder, it was the dude's hand that hit her face. So he tried to make nice. The bar tried to get, they're going to call the cops. He should have waited because he's a cop and done all the things, but he left. And then he came back last night, and there we are. Getting kicked out of a bar that has like 50 people in it, and this lady's throwing a shit fit. And I'm kind of giggling like, wait, are you Billy Badass? What's your deal? So we get back here, and we go to the pool. We chilling. They're having cocktails. I don't drink. My strongest drink is a water. I do have cocktails in my fridge, but they've been traveling like all through California, so they're probably not the greatest. So the older couple went back to their apartment, and then him and I came back here, and we chatted it up till 2:30 in the morning, and then he went to his apartment and I went to mine. I was already at mine, and I was like, nothing's happening. First date rule. Nope. And he's like, really? I'm like, shocker, Mr. 54. So our nicknames for Billy Badass, and I'm the baby because he's older than me by 2 years. And I was, we were just sitting here talking, and he's like, you're going to tell all your friends on YouTube. I said, yeah. And he's like, oh, I have to watch. I said, you can. So I gave him my YouTube channel. I told him I post something this morning. He has to work tonight. He works I call them overnights. What's 6 to 6? That's overnights, right? That's 12 hours of overnights. That's overnights. So he has to work today. He's sleeping right now. He said, I'll come over tomorrow and I'll get a hug before I go to work. I'm like, aw. And he goes, I haven't heard aw in a while. See, you are little. So I'm just like, shut up. So it was pretty funny. We got thrown out of a bar. I've been in 3 bars here. I got thrown out of one. And it's a tiny little itty bitty bar. Like, it's not even near, like, it's the local hangout. Like, all the locals are definitely in like, cahoots with each other. So, he ended up back here. He went home at 2 o'clock in the morning. But we sat in my messy-ass living room for 3 hours, just just getting to know each other as friends, whatever. And he went home, and he's like, I made it home. It's like 1,000 feet away. It's nothing. I'm like, because he'd had like 4 or 5 beers. I'm like, and they were light beers. So, really? You can't walk 1,000 feet away? He's like, I'll call you in the morning. I'm like, you mean 3? So, it's 10:30. I'm laughing at him. I sent him a good morning message. I'm like, I know this is not going to be your morning. I said, good morning. So, we'll stay tuned for this. But he's a nice guy. Check out the boxes. And it was pretty funny. I was laughing. And another joke last night was he got kicked out of a no drama bar. Like 10 people, always. So he was laughing. He's like, I'm badly badass, apparently. But he also, today's Monday, Thursday, he was coming home from work. He's an ex-cop. He is a retired Chicago police officer of 32 years. he was leaving his job an hour away from here. There's a black Ultima with tinted windows, rims, the whole bit. It's 6:30 in the morning because he gets off at 6. It's now 6:30. He's calling. He's like, doo, 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 hauling little butt. Got caught going 90 on the 40. He's never had a ticket in his life. So that compounded all of this other stuff. He's like, what am I gonna do? I got a ticket. And, da, da, da. And the rookie cop wouldn't cut him a deal. He's like, you give me a warning, tell me to knock your shit off. I mean, so you could say anything. He said, I'm giving you a ticket. I'm not going to write it for a construction zone because there's no construction. I'm not going to get you for tinted windows. I'm not going to get you for an out-of-state plate. I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to give you a ticket for 70 miles and a 80 or 7 and a ticket for 80 miles and a 75 mile an hour. So that's your break. So he's been woeing since Wednesday about this ticket, about this is some bullshit. I said, go fight it. What do you got to lose? Go fight the ticket. But he goes, where do you go for a San Bernardino, California ticket? Probably all the way in Apple Valley or Barstow or somewhere. I don't know. He goes, that's some bullshit. That's far. I said, I'll drive. Because I said I'm used to driving. And he's like, oh yeah, that might be a good idea. Because I'll be flipping. Maybe the judge will drop it. Because he'll figure out that you're a retired police officer out of a different state. And he's like, what are the chances of them dropping it? I said, probably pretty good. Because that fucking rookie cop will not show up. Because he's going to think Mr. Out-of-Towner, out-of-state isn't going to show up for this ticket. So he won't show up. So that's something to look forward to. But he gets a ticket. He gets thrown out of a bar. I'm like, dude. I go, all your tires like good, like in tread, brakes are good, all the things, because that's all you need. And he goes, are you trying to say I'm going to get in an accident? I said, no, but just making sure nothing hurts you. But he'll be going to work later. He'll probably swing by, hopefully. And life will be hilarious in my world in Nevada. I think it's hilarious. Minding my own business in the pool, and it turns into being kicked out of a bar on a date-ish. Oh, Lord. Lord have mercy on my soul that I picked the guy out of the pool that has issues already. But anyways, you guys have a fantastic 4th of July. They had the things all last night. So today will be quiet. It's kind of weird outside. I'm going to go do a load of laundry. Whoop, whoop. And chill out. Probably go to the grocery store in a little bit. Because all y'all are leaving, right? Y'all got up, packed your overstuffed suitcase, grabbed your boats and jet skis, and went for a 10-hour wait on the 15 freeway party. That's what happens on holiday weekend. Everything. I'll leave on Monday. Everybody else will too. And we'll sit in traffic for 10 hours on a 4-hour drive. Yeah, that happens. No. Y'all can head out. Toodles. Have fun. Hope you had a great weekend. Get out of here. My hair is super gray. Anyways, y'all have a fantastic Monday.